Hi y'all, it's me again. I'm going to be reading from my book again, The 1900s. The Immigrant Factor. Big business was not the only area in which progressives worked for reform. At the start of the century, America was still an agricultural society. Half of all Americans still worked as farmers, but that soon began to change. The development and growth of new industries, however, meant that many farmers, especially the younger ones, left their rural homes to seek industrial jobs in the cities. The numbers were augmented by an influx of immigrants from other lands. America always had attracted people from overseas, but now even greater numbers of immigrants flocked to America, and most of them settled in the cities. For most of these immigrants, America was the dream, the ultimate goal, the land of promise and opportunity, and they came in increasing numbers in the hope of escaping political or religious persecution, famine, and poverty. The result was large-scale foreign immigration, which proved to be a major contributor to urban growth. In the 40-year period from 1840 to 1880, about 9.5 million immigrants came to America, most of them white Anglo-Saxon Protestants from such northern and western European nations as Great Britain, Holland, Germany, and Scandinavia. In the late 1800s, the nature of the immigration changed noticeably. Beginning in the 1880s, greater numbers of immigrants began to arrive, the majority of them from Asia and southern and eastern European countries like Italy, Poland, Russia, and Hungary. Most of these immigrants were Catholic, Jewish, or Eastern Orthodox rather than Protestant. The contrast between immigration prior to and following 1800 was so marked that historians have differentiated between the two, with the former referred to as the old immigration and the latter as the new immigration. While some of the immigrants gravitated to rural areas, most settled in cities. The overall result was that the cities grew and kept growing at an incredible rate, especially the cities of the industrial Northeast. Between 1860 and 1900, the population of New York City more than tripled, and the population of Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, and Baltimore more than doubled. In 1860, less than 21% of the American population lived in small towns and cities of 2,500 or more people. By 1900, almost 40% of the population was living in towns and cities of that size. As they grew, cities began to spread outward, making urban sprawl a reality. Not too long before, hardly anyone had even heard of paved streets. City streets were uneven, bumpy, and noisy because they were made of sand, gravel, wood blocks, bricks, or cobblestones. Then asphalt was introduced. New modes of transportation appeared in the form of electric trolleys, subways, and elevated electric railways, and bridges were built across rivers and bays. All of these advances in transportation helped make travel more practical and more possible for many Americans. When these transportation innovations were coupled with such improvements in communications as the telegraph and the telephone, the impact on cities were enormous. Factories, shops, and banks could congregate in one area without having to be concerned about being able to communicate with industries in other areas. The cities now had access to areas that had been difficult or impossible to get to before. People soon discovered that they could live in one place and work in another. Just because they worked in a city, they did not have to live there as well. With the paved roads, bridges, and new modes of transportation, they could move away from the downtown areas where most of the businesses and factories were located. Cities spread out to include new housing areas away from downtown, changing the complexion of the downtown area currently known as the inner city. Middle and upper class Americans moved away from downtown using the streetcars and trolleys to get to work. The poor and most of the newly arrived immigrants, however, had to live where they worked, which generally made the inner city populated with filthy tenants, where unscrupulous landlords charged rent for rundown, Please rate, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're on TikTok, please follow me. Bye.